Hi everybody, this is Judy Parcell, and isn't this a lovely shell? I wanted to tell you the history of this. This was done by Soul Glass. Now they're world famous, but they started in my town, and I bought this because I could afford to buy it for $25, no, $10, excuse me, $10, and there were so many to choose from, and they were so beautiful. Anyway, I selected this one at a fair, and they were just trying to get started, and I'm so lucky to have this piece. Now, yes, I am going to draw it. You could predict that. But I'm going to talk to you about something else I learned in art school. I had this idea that I wanted to do in clay. And when I was in art school, I was just throwing pots, but I actually wanted to do a clay sculpture. And with the help of the teacher, I was able to do that. And they happened to have a very large kiln to fire it in. And one of the things that I learned while shaping this sculpture was that I could train my brain by holding something and feeling it like this, which is what you do when you're shaping something in sculpture. You're shaping it, and you're shaping the clay, and you're going like this. I was actually training my brain to feel objects three-dimensionally, to be able to feel them in my brain three-dimensionally. I had no idea that that was happening. So as I am feeling this beautiful shell and running my hands over it, I'm teaching myself how it's going to draw out three-dimensionally. So I'm going to take it off the screen. It is gorgeous. I'm going to flip it over for you to look at. Look at that. God, I don't know how they do that. Just so wonderful. But I thought I would draw this shell, and I'm going to put it off to the side and take a piece of white paper. Yes, we got to go back to white. And I am going to draw it after I've felt it. And as I draw the shell, I am feeling it with my hands. I'm not touching it right now. My other hand is here, but feeling it in my head. So I'm going like that, and then I'm going, it kind of goes up like this, and it's got a nice little horn. And I can remember that I felt it. And then this goes like this, and then it sweeps down, and it's got another little horn, and then it's kind of fat, and I'm doing the back side of it, by the way. And then I pick up from here, and I come in, and I roll it over, and I can feel this, literally feel this. Okay, and then up here, okay, there's another horn. So I start here, and it kind of comes up like this and goes down over to this one. Right here is the rest of the shell. Everything's kind of rounded on this shell, so, which is, you know, women love round things. So there is the shell, and I did that with thinking three-dimensionally in my brain. I used both hands here. I didn't touch the shell. I just looked at it over to the side, and I was able to get this. Now, if I want to fill this out further, I can see that probably this should be more like this. Yeah, that's okay. And then it kind of goes like that. All right. And actually, looking at it, I can correct this, and this kind of goes out like that more, and I'll bring that into here. Okay, so let's erase this line, which I don't think's right. So now I'm making the corrections. There, that's much better. Now they had some texture on this, and it might be true of these shells. I don't know. I don't have an actual one in front of me. But they're showing this kind of flow. Well, actually, it's coming off of here. It's kind of going over like that. I'm just going to draw them in first before I round them out. Wow, that's interesting. And then this comes like this, and it kind of goes up here like this. And these are more kind of independent on their own. Yeah. There we go. And this goes off here very fine, off of here. That's interesting. I did notice that from here on in, and this may be true of the shell, it has some markings. We'll just make the assumption that these people copied their glass from a shell. Oh, these things are so priceless now. You cannot buy them. They make the most beautiful salmons, too. Just gorgeous. They're in restaurants and all over the world. I know one of the blowers. He's the son of the gallery owner who's in our village that I talked about in that reading. You know, in the books I write, I'm writing my second book, I take real live people out of my life and incorporate them in my books. Now I'm going to start the rounding out process here because we want to start giving these shape. And then I'm going to go off of here. And then I'm just going to kind of let that go because it does. See how I lift the pencil? I just let it go. And that goes kind of rounded, kind of rounded. Now, even if the real shell isn't rounded, I just think this is interesting to do. Do you see how I don't do things exactly as they are? That's the difference between having an imagination and not. And you know, anyone can develop an imagination. It's just like exercising a muscle. Like, you know, your heart's a muscle. Which reminds me, I have to go down and cycle for 30 minutes. Guess what I do when I cycle? I watch YouTube. And I watch other artists on YouTube do their artwork. And there is your shell. So practice feeling your object in your hands, set it to the side, try drawing it and it goes really fast. You see how fast that went for me? Now I can shade this. I can come here and shade the ground. I'll do that before I tie off. So we've got to anchor it. And the shade does a good job of that, by the way. Okay, so it's going to mimic this other horn. And you want to shade in a little darker here so you can tell the difference between the shell and the ground. So I'd come in a little darker so you can distinguish what's what. You know, you got to know what's what. Yeah, I come in really sharp because I got some design there. And it's interesting because this shadow kind of goes like this from there. Just get in there nice and dark so that shell stands out from the shadow. Then I can thin my shadow out because the light bounces around and does that. Okay. There you go. Thank you, everybody. And I will talk to you later. Have a great day.